It's important to push record.
It is. Welcome to IQ session number 53. And tonight is all about...
What's next?
What's next? So this is mainly directed at those of you that are doing the 8-week challenge. But of course, this also applies to you if you're not. And how to kick on, ready to gear it up again.
After you achieve a goal, what's that next step? What do you do after the next phase? So we're going to reference tonight's all about in relation to weight loss and the journey of weight loss and what that means, what it looks like, and how do you continue on after something comes to a halt or to an end, or you achieve the goal, so to speak, like an 8-week challenge. Obviously ends this week, Monday,
yeah. Last day.
Monday coming, 8-week challenge wraps up, and then what? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to briefly talk a little bit about weight loss first, and then we're going to go into all that stuff. So we believe wholeheartedly that weight loss is super simple, right? It's a really simple formula. It's eat less, move more, weight loss. That's it. In its rawest form, it's actually that simple. No, taking out all the complexity about food and stuff like that. If you just ate less, if I took you to a desert and chucked you in there and you weren't able to eat and you had to move to walk to get to the destination, you're going to lose weight along the way. It's just part of the deal. May not be as fun as you'd like it to be, but it would work. And
look, it's a little extreme, but it would work. Guaranteed.
So we know that that's the formula. No one debates the formula. The formula is the formula. It doesn't matter who you are. But where we do get a bit of, I suppose, discretion, differences between everyone is confusion, complexity and stuff like that, is what's the best way to do it. And so out there in the world today, you've got everything from eat 6 meals a day. You've got eat 1 meal a day. You've got don't eat carbs after 8 o'clock. You've got don't eat carbs. You've got only eat fat because keto is life. You've got low carb, no carbs, only carbs. You've got vegan. You've got pescatarian. You've got gluten-free, potatoes only. You've got, it's just, list goes on and on and on. So where everyone has a difference is, and an argument and an opinion is on what's the best way for food. So everyone has an argument based around that. Now, the reason that they argue it is because it works for them because they like what they're doing. If you said to me, I can only do keto and all the fat stuff, that would bore the crap out of me because I love carbs. So it's not going to appeal to me. Would it work if I did it? Yes. Not saying it wouldn't, but would I enjoy it? No. So I'm not going to stick to it. It's not really going to work for me because it needs to last forever. So that's why that's always such a controversial, kind of very opinionated kind of thing. But where we all agree and what no one argues about is every single one of those things are a calorie deficit. That means you eat less. That's what it is. So you work out your numbers and you eat less. So everyone in the fitness profession agrees. No one says go out and double your calories for the day. No one, except for someone who is trying to stack on a huge amount of weight. So we all agree, eat less, move more is the answer. There's no arguments there across the world. Everyone agrees. The challenge is the food. So our challenge with that is that it can be too aggressive in one field and you may not like it, but because someone said you got to eat it, you eat it and you don't last forever. So that's really failing. So we took out all that and said, cool, just work on calories and all of a sudden you can eat what you want, but just pay attention to it. Obviously, and you guys are at the end of the 8-week challenge. So that is awesome. Okay. That's the weight loss side of things. So once you've got your head around that, which we all do now after this full 8 weeks, which is amazing, we then ask what's next. And basically what's happened is for 8 weeks, you guys have been in a deficit. Now, a deficit meaning that you've restricted your calories more than what you would need to maintain your body weight. So example, if to maintain my current body weight, I need to eat about 3,000 calories a day. I happily do it. I love every bit of it. And I can tick that box every day comfortably and sometimes even go above that. It's pretty simple to eat 3,000 calories. If you eat crappy food, it goes up pretty quick. So I do 3,000 calories to maintain my calories. But if I'm doing a deficit and I only eat, say, 2,500, I'm in a 500 deficit. If I do that for a long period of time, I will eventually come to a screaming halt. My body will eventually tell me to stop. It's too long. You can't keep living this way. Now, where people go wrong when they do stuff is they do a deficit forever. They try and do the whole year out. I've been eating 1,000 calories a day all year and it doesn't work. And there's a reason for that. We're going to explain that tonight. Okay. Now, I've got to read the notes because this gets a little bit techie. So hang with me, but I'm going to teach you why being in a deficit is not a good thing for your body.
For a long period of time.
For a long period of time. So short periods of time are great. And we'll explain that in a minute. First things first. By being in a deficit for a long period of time, it increases a production of your hunger hormone, known as your ghrelin, and that makes you feel hungry all the time. Okay, so that's a negative thing of being in there, is that you can eat food and it'll increase that hunger hormone, and you will constantly feel hungry no matter what you eat. You will eat not much and you'll always be hungry, so you're never satisfied, so you're constantly angry, you're never satisfied. So that is an increase in that. On the opposite of that one, you have a decrease in your hormone called leptin, and this makes you feel less satisfied after meals. Okay, so you've got one that makes you feel unsatisfied, then you've got another one that's making you feel less hungry, and you've got one that's making you feel unsatisfied. So they're really bashing against you, they're working against you already. First two.
Can you just confirm that one makes you hungry and one makes you less satisfied?
Correct.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep, exact. Number three, one reduces your exercise activity. Okay, so it's actually called your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's called NEAT. The acronym stands for NEAT, which actually means you conserve energy through activities like walking and fidgeting. So what would happen actually, because of this deficit that goes on for so long, you become lazy. You don't want to walk, you won't fidget, you won't even sit there and like do this, because that's burning energy, and your body's in this work against you mode. It's trying to get you to stop and conserve energy, because you've been starving yourself and stripping yourself for so long. So you've got this thing that makes you hungry, you've got this thing that makes you feel less satisfied, and you've got this thing that makes you feel tired and make you not actually want to move.
That's really working against you, isn't it?
Exactly right. Then there's a fourth one, and you suffer from...
There's more.
Yeah, there's a fourth one, which you suffer from an adaptive thermogenesis, which is when you drop your calories, when there's a drop in your calories and you're expected to burn above and beyond that, what happens is they decrease your body's calories to allow you to do that. So by decreasing all your calories, you should lose weight, and initially you do. What the body does is it puts a handbrake on you, not allowing you to actually burn those calories, so it actually restricts you from being able to lose weight. So basically, from being a calorie deficit for too long, it completely works against your body. And it's like literally like having a handbrake on, okay? So it freaks out and it starts to protect itself, okay? You literally you can tell yourself you're hungry, and you'll still be moving less and you're burning no calories. And it just is frustrating, and people get angry. And think of it like a stagnant pond all of a sudden. So if you're not moving because you don't want to move, because the body's literally saying don't move, and you're tired and you're lazy and you're always hungry, you're never satisfied, and you've got all this thing working against you, you start to get murky, you start to get grumpy, you start to get angry, all this stuff creeps in, and mentally you shift. And the one thing that shifts as you are done, if you've been listening to these IQ sessions, the one thing that shifts a mental instability in your head is exercise. However, the deficit is put you on a handbrake and not allowing you to exercise and not making you want to exercise. Whew.
This sounds like the body's telling you to eat more.
It literally is telling you to eat more. Okay.
Wow.
And because that's aggressive dieting, that's what that is. When people try to do it forever, you can't do it forever, because the body freaks out and literally says, stop, you're starving yourself. If you continue this road on a deficit, we will die. It literally goes to extremes. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate you guys that you don't have to do it for a long period of time. And we're going to actually do what I call it stepping you down. So you go in a deficit where you drop down, and then we plateau you on purpose. And we'll get to that in a second. All right. Now, from being in an increased deficit for a very, 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 very long time, and I'll talk about the distance of that in a second, your sex drive disappears. You start to lose muscle mass. You'll find you're hungry a lot. You don't sleep well. You become irritable, and you stop losing weight. All the things you're trying to improve, you get the reverse effect of it. Okay. So it's pretty much sucks.
I feel like this is helping the sound effects.
Yeah, well, it's good.
Enthusiasm. It's my contribution tonight.
And so to summarize, we know that eating less works, but not for a long time. Okay. So if you can eat less for a period of time and then reshift it and then go again, you can actually win the game of weight loss. Wow. It is. So how we run it here at FBFM is we do an 8-week deficit. That's why we call it an 8-week challenge. Now, in the first challenge, when we did this, we did it for 12 weeks. We drifted it out, and then we had a layover, and it went for about 16 weeks where it was this period. And the reason for that, and we've changed that now because there's a reason. I'll explain that in a second. But what we do is we go for 8 weeks, and then we have a 4-week maintenance period, and then we start again and we go for 8 weeks.
And
so
the maintenance period is what we call a forced plateau.
Correct. And we'll get to that in a second. But this one here is the reason for the 8-week block and not a 12-week block. You could push it for 12 weeks and then you'll need a maintenance period. So you can push about 3 months in a deficit, and then you're going to have to recalibrate and eat a bit more to stop the body freaking out. Because if you keep going for another month or two, you will plateau and it'll come to an almighty halt, and you'll get angry and frustrated, and all those symptoms will kick in. Now, the best way to describe this is if you think of a bodybuilder, when they do their bodybuilding campaign or their program and stuff like this, they start with a goal in mind of getting up on stage. Now, they're on stage for about 5 minutes. So their goal is all this obsessive discipline for 5 minutes on stage. That's their goal, no longer than that. After that, they're happy to go back to old habits. So they bust their butt, they work out every day, they watch their food, they calorically deficit themselves for a long period of time. Now, leading into the bodybuilding competition, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, they literally starve themselves down to about 500 calories a day. They do not eat water for 2 weeks out. They drink limited water. They start with a large amount of water, and it gets less and less and less and less and less. And the last 2 days of the bodybuilding prep, they literally have no more than a sip of water for the day. So they're trying to draw out all the moisture in their muscles to make their muscles stand out. And they do look amazing. So they have this really aggressive approach. They stand on stage, they flex, they do their movements, they look amazing for 5 minutes. Then they get off stage, and the first thing they do, because they've been starving for like the last couple of weeks, is they go and eat a huge amount of food. Now, in that process, their body has been going, stop doing this, stop doing this, stop doing this, stop doing this. So when they eat their first big meal afterwards, the body goes, finally some source of nutrients, and it holds on to it, and it just packs it into fat. It starts storing everything. It doesn't let anything burn off. It's just like, if we do this again, we're going to die. We need a high, literally harvest everything. So go into hibernation. So it starts packing food away for that almighty scary process again. So much like your body, that's the extreme version of it. Your body does the same thing. If it goes into this deficit for a long period of time, it starts going, shit, we got to pack this food away. Anytime food goes in, it just starts packing like a mud pack in. It will store it as fat, because fat is your storage. It's your safety thing. If you go into a long period of no food, it will start drawing on fat. That's why you're never really in trouble when you can't eat. You're just frustrated because you want to eat. You're actually fine, because most people have enough fat in their body to last for a while. So you can always survive on the fat in your body. Bodybuilding is extreme, so they have an extreme thing. So basically they call it the bodybuilding post-comp depression, they call it, because they do all this work for 5 minutes on stage, and then within about a week, they're back to being chubby. So they look shredded and ripped, and then they're chubby within about a week or two. And they feel disheartened by it, so they get angry about it, because their body wasn't now in a plateau. And it doesn't matter what they do for a few months, because they can't shake that habit, because basically the body's like, nah, I'm not letting this go, not letting this go. So they have to retrain their body to be able to release the fat again. So what we're doing with you guys is we're saying, go down for 8 weeks, increase your calories slightly for about 4 weeks, and then we run another challenge, and then you drop it again, and you come down again, and you join the challenge. That's it. We call it stepping. So you go down, across, down, across, down, across. So more or less, you are taking control of your plateau. You're forcing a plateau on yourself. So you can't be frustrated because you're in a plateau, because you're literally saying, I'm going to plateau now for 4 weeks. And you're doing that to relax the systems in your body. They need to chill out for a bit. You can't keep going. Now, we used to go 8 weeks and then do 4 weeks after the 8 weeks challenge, where you just are doing it still in a deficit, and then do a 4-week maintenance period, which is the increased calories. The challenge with that we found is that next 4 weeks, it's all you. And then the maintenance period is a bit lonely, because it's the 4 weeks before the challenge. Now, there's that 8-week block there where you're left to your own demise, and habits creep back in. So the support's not as strong as you have through the challenge. You don't have the network as much, because you're on your own a little bit and you're in control of the calories. So what we like to do is we like to then control it and bring it back. And we work that if we do 8 weeks, bump them up for a month or 4 weeks. Everyone, you won't put weight on it, that adjusted number. It's your number. It's the reason. It's your new number, because at the start of the challenge, you would have weighed X amount. At the end of the challenge, you weigh X amount, and that's cool. And that's your new number. So when you start the next challenge, the goal is to be the same kg number when you start the next one, not the same as the start of this challenge. That is your goal. Maintain this weight so that when you start the next one, your new first number is the end result of this challenge. And if you can complete that process and follow it through, and you keep repeating it, much like some of our guys like Phil and Kirsty, they're great. They've done multiple challenges now. And like, I don't know if it's Dean, I don't know if you saw the photos that Kirsten, that post, or the post Kirsty posted in the challenge recently, was that Phil's 35. He's in the best condition he's ever looked in his entire life. And he's 35 years old, because he's done back-to-back challenges, and he's run the momentum over, and he's adjusted the calories for a period of time. He's enjoyed eating a little bit more for a period of time. recalibrated them, and then kicked on again. So he's used the momentum to roll over. So he has this newfound love for being able to eat anything he wants within reason and learn when he has too much. So, all right. What am I going here? So, but more or less, we're going to say take control of the steering wheel. That's you taking control of the journey now. So, because if you take your hands off the steering wheel, much like a car, you will crash into something, you will derail, you will get yourself into trouble. So you're taking control of the plateau, and we're going to give you the formula to increase your calories. Now, normally we do a multiplication of your current weight, and we do it multiply it by 15. This time we're going to say to you, we want you to increase your current calories by 300 calories. So whatever your number is currently, you're going to increase those by 300 for the next 4 weeks. So you're going to have 300 extra calories to eat every day for the next 4 weeks. However, you don't get the 600 buffer once a week. So you're going to have more calories to do daily, but not the kicker of a 600 bonus on one of those days, because you're compounding those extra calories over a week. You're actually giving yourself, in theory, what's that, 2,100 extra calories a week that you're getting on top of what you're already doing. So what you get is an extra 300 every day on your current number. Okay, which is pretty generous, I think. You think it's generous, Sheridan?
Generous.
Very generous. So the idea is that you increase them slightly so your body can relax and all the systems come out. We can avoid all those negative things that we talked about at the start of the suppression of the hormones, the increase of things. They need to chill out for a bit. So for after Monday, you'll add 300 calories on. You still have to count your calories. That is the one thing people do wrong when they finish the challenge. Like, hallelujah, pop the bottles, let's do this sort of stuff there. The calorie counting is forever. I asked someone the other day, this person's done multiple challenges, and they're like, oh my God, I ate a block of chocolate, and she's lovely. She's been with us for a long time. She knows who she is. I won't mention names. But and I said to her, I was like, cool. She goes, and she felt really guilty for having a block of chocolate. I said, how many calories are in a block of chocolate? She couldn't tell me. That's the alarm bell. If you cannot tell me the calories, if you cannot tell me when I say to you, cool, how much is that bag of chips you're eating? If you can't physically tell me off the top of your head, you're not ready to not count calories. If you cannot rattle off all the food you eat with all the calorie numbers, and I can Google it and cross-check it, if you cannot do that, you're not ready to not count calories.
And it doesn't mean that you have to enter every single thing into MyFitnessPal. It just means you have to have a mental tally of what you've consumed for the day if you don't want to regress. If you want a certain result, you have to know the road. You've got to know the map, and you've got to know what you're putting into your body. So you don't have to put everything in, but you got to know, all right, I've had about 300 for breakfast, had 200 in snacks, I've had 700 here. All right, cool. I'm at about this. I've got about 300 left. You need to know those details. You
can just jot them down on a piece of paper. You can literally keep a tally in your diary or on your phone, in your notes, or whatever it is. But you're going to remember, because if you don't count, regardless if you count the calories or not, your body still counts them. Okay. And that's a key alarm is if you go, cool, what do I love to eat? Bag of chips. If you don't know how much the caloric value in a bag of chips is, you're not ready to not count. You need 800. To keep tracking.
We like the taties.
So the reason for that is that the reality is that your number is your number. We're giving you an extra 300 calories. People freak out about this extra calorie number that they get given. Now you got to remember that you've been in a deficit for a while, and the extra calories aren't going to make you go back to where you were. We're not saying eat 2,000 extra calories. We're literally saying have 300 extra a day. And if you think about it, it's actually not that much. If you love chocolate, it's actually what? Probably a bar of chocolate, like two rows.
Chunky Kit Kat Gold is 243 calories.
So an extra treat in Sheridan's day, and she can tick that extra 300 calories.
We have people that go, but I couldn't possibly eat an extra 300. I'm already struggling. Well, if you look at it as an extra 300, yes, that could be an extra meal for you, or just gradually add an extra 50 to each meal, kind of thing. Add a little bit more to each time you eat.
Yeah. And that's all it is. That's all it comes down to. So the key here is we know that I'm just going to summarize everything really quickly. We know that everything, when you eat less and move more, moving is a key component in here. Don't stagnate. If you're stagnating, just because we're putting you in a plateau doesn't mean we want you to do all the symptoms of a plateau. We want you to literally keep moving. Moving is the one key thing that doesn't change. It should always be the same in your life. You've got blueprints, you've got workouts, you've got everything, you've got online access, you've got all these things that allow you to keep moving. Heck, you've got a beautiful city that we live in. You've got a beautiful terrain. You can go for a walk, you can go for a run or a bike or something like that. It doesn't cost anything to do those things. So moving daily, it should be a non-negotiable. And we all go through times when we're not doing it and we're injured or we've got something like this. That's when you reach out to us and say, hey, I'm really battling to figure out alternatives for doing this sort of thing. We'll tee up a chat with you. We'll get you to come in or whatever it has to be, a Zoom or something like that. And we'll give you alternatives and solutions to your challenges. You don't have to figure them out yourself. Don't be prideful. Reach out and say, hey guys, can you help me out? I need some help. And we would say, we would love to. And that's easy.
So that's our mission, is just to get people moving.
That's it. Create a disease-free world. Okay?
If you want to keep up what you have been doing as well, and you've just been with us for the challenge so far, you can maintain access to everything that you've got, and it's only $20 a week for our FBFM at home membership. So if you're keen on that, please reach out to me as well.
Absolutely. So moving every day, non-negotiable. Increasing the 300 extra calories, for some of you are going to feel like that's impossible. I promise you it's not. It's very possible. Very easy to do, and you're going to do them daily. You do not get your extra 600 though for this next 4 weeks or after the challenge. Sorry, wait for the challenge to finish. For 4 weeks, you don't get the buffers. So you have to be more calculated in your weekends. Those are the things that are going to catch people out. However, you do have that luxury of those extra 300 calories, so you can be a bit more playful during the week. You might want to add a glass of wine if you haven't been having a glass of wine through the week. It adds up pretty easy, I promise you, those extra 300 calories.
Yeah.
Woo. And then we do that for 4 weeks. Then the next challenge starts and you recalibrate, you reset the goals, you re-engage, and then you kick on again. And then you are in control of the drive, not the plateau that creeps up on you because you've been starving yourself for 6 to 8 months. The amount of people we meet that have just been starving themselves for so long.
We tell them for 12 months and nothing's working. It's like, because your body's like dying. Yeah. It's like it's going into survival mode.
And we literally say, eat more. Like, we want you to eat this much more. And oh, I couldn't possibly. And it's a mental battle for them to eat more. They eat more and then the body shifts, the weight moves and stuff like that. Now, if you've been checking your scales, naughty, and you've been doing it daily, that habit has to stop because it's so toxic for your brain. To create a happiness based on 100 grams is stupidity. And I'm sorry if you believe that gives you happiness when they're going down. You need to change your happiness focus on a different thing.
And 9 out of 10 people check the scales in the morning, and you're going to start the day off with a shit like slap in the face. Like change your start to your day. Yeah. Start with something that makes you feel amazing and
read a joke.
And yes, every now and then the scales might let you have a little celebration and let you win. But reality is it's so up and down, and you're 100% putting your happiness into something that honestly you don't have that much control over those specific numbers. And so you just got to change your approach.
Yeah. So we
100%.
Literally say, break them, smash them, throw them out. Please do it. Video them. I'd love to see the videos of you breaking them. And I know you're thinking, but this is, and if you're still hanging on to them and you're still checking them, that's a habit that's crept into your life. And you need to try and break that habit, because what you've repeatedly done will creep back in. Okay. Just because you've done an 8-week challenge and you maybe have resisted, but you still want to jump on, you still want to check it. Like Sharon said, the happiness, most people's day starts where they get up, they might pee or go to the toilet or something, stand on the scales. And if it hasn't moved, they're grumpy. That's the first thing you approach into your day is grumpiness, or, I'm 100 grams up, and you're happy, but the next day you're 300 grams up or down. And you're like, what the heck? You know, it's just not healthy to start that way. No. When you could get up, you could read a joke and have some happiness.
The scales don't reflect what's happening with how you look as well. So perfect example is the beautiful Sarah, who will be watching this later when she finishes work. She's done her photo comparisons of week 1, 4, and now this last week 7 as well. And she actually hasn't stepped on the scales until till this week. She's gone up 2 kilos. So if we just went on kilograms, she'd seriously be suicidal. Like, this is shit, why we're doing this, up 2 kilos. However, you look at her photos, honestly, I would put money on that she'd lost 5 to 10. So you can't let scales, they don't give you a proper representation of what's happening. It doesn't matter how much you weigh. You don't know how much I weigh and you don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care how much I weigh because I don't want to put that pressure on me. And honestly, for no reason do we need to know how much we weigh. So the photos matter, your measurements, that's what counts. It's not how heavy you are. She's gone up by 2 kilos. However, I can't wait. I hope she lets me share her photos because it's ridiculous, the difference.
So we really try and drive this home. Your scales are stupid. They only haven't
got that yet. 7 weeks in.
Yeah. The only purpose they have is creating that first number, and then they'll recalibrate again at the start of the next challenge. And that's about all the only purpose they need. So you, in theory, don't even need to have them because every neighborhood has them. We've got them at the gym. You can go down to the local chemist. I think they have them down there as well. Like if you're stepping on them every day, you are legitimately setting yourself up for a miserable day. Because like Sheridan said, Sarah put on a couple of kilograms, which means that her journey would have been like this. And that was happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad. It's like stupidity. Like it honestly is dumb. So dumb.
Yeah, so dumb.
Don't know if you've heard that, but we don't like the scales. They're stupid. They don't have any fun. The only time that they're really relevant, other than weighing food and stuff like that, to help with the portion control and stuff like that, is bungee jumping. They need to know how heavy you are before they can put the right rope on you. That's important.
But they have scales.
Yeah. You don't have to walk with your scales and go, hang on, I jumped on these this morning and I said I was this much.
But I was naked and I just pooed and I hadn't eaten yet.
Yeah. So anything like that, but those places have those things covered for you. So you don't have to worry about that sort of thing now. So your clothes don't say you need to be a certain weight. There's just nothing. There's no relevance to it.
Nothing at all.
Planes don't even say you have to be a certain weight.
No.
Like, so what's the matter? Like it's, stupid and dumb. Get rid of them, break them. Anyway, that's how it works. It's pretty simple. Eat less, move more. You're going to increase your calories by 300 for the next 4 weeks after the challenge finishes. And then the next challenge starts. And then you will recalibrate. You'll need to find some scales, hop on them, because you'll have a new number to start with based on your direction of what you want to do.
And remember, no extra 600 day. Nope. But this is probably the time now, this next phase, this maintenance phase that we call, where we're forcing the plateau, is probably the time you need to be most diligent in knowing your numbers, because you have been given more food to eat. And if you do eat too much, you will put on weight. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We want to get you to your goals.
Yep.
And then if you've already hit your goals, that's another one that I want to just quickly address. If you've hit where you want to be, first of all, high five, congratulations. Second of all, you'll increase by 300 and just hold it there forever. Yep. You don't get an extra 600 day. Your maintenance number is your number, and that'll keep you there forever.
Yep. Simple. Pretty sweet deal.
Sweet. Woohoo.
That's it.
That's it from us. Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything that we haven't quite ticked off, not quite clear about? You can either write it in the chat box or wave at me and I can unmute you. Or later on, you can reach out to us as well. Ash, you reach forward then. Have you got a question or you're just adjusting? No, you're good. Excellent. Well, as always, look at us go. We got under time. Go us. High five. As always, thank you guys so much for investing in you. Thank you for spending your Thursday evening with us. And whenever you're watching this later on, again, thank you so much. Please reach out if you have any questions. Please also reach out if you would like a topic for us to cover on these IQ sessions. Also, if you're doing the challenge and you'd like to continue with us, we would love to have you. Please just reach out and we can organize that nice and simple. Other than that, you guys are amazing. Finish the next couple of days strong. Your final photos have to be in by Monday night, midnight. You can submit them on Sunday as well, though, if you like. Then there's 4 weeks of this maintenance period. And then our next challenge starts on May the 10th. We will start advertising that next week.
And will we announce the winner probably next Thursday?
At
the IQ session.
Oh, that's a great idea.
We'll do it then. That makes
a bit of pressure. Yep. Okay. All right.
So it forces us to...
Next week, the winner will be announced. And remember, there's $1,000 up for grab for both the first female and the first male, plus PT, plus so much else. Awesome stuff.
Lots of stuff.
You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. And now we've hit the 30-minute mark. All right. Mwah. Ciao. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Bye.